All right, Philadelphia, welcome back to Pin High. Happy Valentine's Day. Before we get into today's episode, if you haven't signed yourself or your friends up for the Philly Metro Golf Amateur Week, a couple weeks ago we had Tim Horan. I encourage that you go on and do so at amateurgolftour.net. I just saw that they added Trump National Golf Club to the roster. So I think that's pretty cool, Mike. I'm going to be doing that. My dad, if you're listening, go and sign up once again at amateurgolftour.net. And if you're upgrading anything this season, my friends over at PXG are getting me ready for this year's golf season. For all things PXG, feel free to use my code at PhillyGolfGirl10 and treat yourself properly. All right, starting to warm up, so that's good. I apologize in advance. I kind of getting over a sinus infection. So I'm naturally a nasal speaker, so if it's overdone, it's not on purpose. We're just recovering from God knows what. Today's guest is a Philly sports media staple. Former 97.5 The Fanatic, Sirius XM 97.3 ESPN, and now hosting the Swing It and Ding It podcast, where he gets raw, unfiltered, and very Philly. He's authentic, and somewhere along the way, golf became a real obsession, which we're going to talk about today. And now he's preparing for the senior tour. Harry Mays. Welcome to
That was great.
Welcome to Pin High, my guy.
Hey, glad to be here, man. I've been preparing for the senior tour for about 30 years. Good to be here.
Going? We're just happy to have you.
I'm just thankful if I can get out there and play a couple days a week. That's good enough for me. I had to come down to Florida though to do that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you left the Arctic tundra and you said you left last night. You drove down?
I drove down in 15 and a half hours. Stopped twice for gas. Yeah.
When you make your pit stops, where are you stopping? Georgia? Like, what's the tradition?
North Carolina, usually, because I get, I don't like to run the gas tank down too low, like about just under a quarter tank left. And that gets me to about midway through North Carolina. And then the next one is just before the Florida border.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I have no plans in the near future to do this route. So it's good to know. It's good to know. We had Jillian Mealy on last week, and she told me that she and her girlfriend from the PGA show, they drove to and from Florida back to Philly. So I guess this is what we're doing these days.
Well, it's
Screw
funny.
Flights.
It's funny because, people are like, oh, we're in Florida now. We crossed the border. You got another 4 hours, four and a half hours to go. Like, Florida's big.
I know. It's a tall state.
It's a long state. Yeah. So, but we're here.
Did you go? Were you at the PGA show or no?
Last year. I did not go this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This was my first one. I mean, obviously
It's
it's
a
always
scene.
been in Daytona. It's wild.
It's a scene, man. Yeah,
Wild.
It really is. That Orlando Convention Center is massive.
Oh, I know.
And it's packed to the gills with golf stuff. I mean,
packed.
Unbelievable.
It's my back was like on fire towards the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still getting questions about the PGA show. You didn't go this year, but if anybody wants to go next year, what would you say? How would you prepare for the PGA show if you just want to go as a golf enthusiast?
Wear comfortable shoes. Okay.
Yes.
And bring if you've got something or you want to, make connections, bring a lot of business cards or whatever it is, because it's a who's who of anybody and everybody in the golf space. I mean, you name it. It's you could spend, a good 2 or 3 days walking around that place and maybe not see everybody.
Right.
So it's something. I did I recorded 2 days of content for Inside Golf last year, and that was my first experience at the show, and it was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you still do stuff with Inside Golf?
I haven't since late last year, but I did a lot, while Harry was around, and we lost him not too long ago, sadly.
I know, it's so sad.
What are some of wonderful guy?
What are tell me more about that. What are some of your favorite memories with Harry?
Well, I first got to know him by doing Temple football games, because he was the voice of Temple sports, both men's basketball and football for decades, and going back into the '80s. And I got to know him actually through Inside Golf because he knew I was a golf enthusiast, and we knew
Mhm,
each other doing radio together.
mhm,
We didn't do it together, but you kind of knew we were colleagues and everything. And he reached out one time to have me on their panel show, the teed off thing that they sort of stick in the episode at the end. It's like a 6 or 7 minute little Q&A with a
yeah,
couple of local guys, and I became part of that. And then I was on the Temple broadcast as the field analyst while Harry did the play-by-play, and we just had so many great times on the road, going on the road trips with the charter jet and
mm.
staying in the hotel, going out to dinner and, drinks and so forth. He was just a wonderful guy to be with. And then, he was a golf nut. I mean, I don't know that you can find anybody in media in Philadelphia that did more for the game of golf and to promote the game of golf than Harry Donahue did. So, he will be greatly missed.
Wow. We
Yeah,
have, I would say, since this big push for golf content, I would say that we collectively, and I'm saying we, because the Swing and Ding It podcast, it being on your podcast is so much fun, and I
it is.
I
Thank you.
appreciate any and every time you guys have me on. And I wanted, I love cross promoting and whatever I
Hmm.
can do, but ever since his passing, I'm kind of reminded, and I reconnected with the production company from Inside Golf. They were down at the PGA show. They spoke very highly about him. And in a way, there's like this little unspoken thing that we all kind of have like really big shoes to fill
Hmm.
collectively as a golf content push Philly entity. We have some big shoes to fill because I
Yeah.
love to hear that. And it's funny, I was reminded just recently when I just, I was on Inside Golf and they're great. They said, Francesca, we dug through our archives. You did an interview with him in 2015. I said, I did.
Really?
I did. And I
Wow.
didn't, I know. I didn't remember. You see, little golfer me. I mean, I'm not really, well, younger, but I'm interviewing him and I can't recall, and I've been wanting to get that footage so I can relive that and remember that, but I didn't remember. And it was
Wow.
so long ago. And I've been spending all this time in LA, but
Hmm.
I do remember, vaguely meeting him and him just being so gracious with me,
Hmm.
and he made me see how valuable it was to be a lady golfer with a decent game just
Hmm.
back in 2015, because back then golf wasn't quote unquote cool. Now it's the coolest thing ever. And I know
Hmm.
he would be so proud to see how Philadelphia is receiving,
Right.
golf content. The golf community is just expanding. It's taking years to just get into a country club right now. And I'm sure
Right.
he would just like love this right now.
No doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. Golf wasn't cool back in 2015 for you, at
It
least.
wasn't.
That's hilarious because I said the same thing
Yeah.
when I first got involved in the game. Was maybe the early '90s. Okay, when I first got clubs and
Mhm.
tried to play golf, and I said the same thing. Like when I was growing up, I'm an old guy now, but I was growing up in the '70s. Golf wasn't cool. It was like old guys, out of shape old guys in
Yes.
ugly pants. That's what it
Mhm.
was to me. These plaid, Sansa belt slacks and guys with guts and, smoking darts and, playing sideburns and long hair, whatever, playing golf. And I'm like, this is not for me as a kid. I was like, I wasn't drawn to it. But then Freddie
Mm-mm.
Couples and Greg Norman were playing on my
Ugh.
television. And I'm like,
Yeah.
those guys are cool. Like I
Mhm.
gravitated to those guys. This was pre-Tiger, obviously. He was coming up in the
Mhm.
amateur ranks, but I didn't, know who he was because the coverage wasn't there back then where you
Mhm.
knew
Mhm.
everything was going on. You didn't have 24/7 Golf Channel yet. And then, of course, Tiger hit, and then it became cool for so many people. But it's funny that
Mhm.
you say it in 2015, you still didn't think it was cool. So, what made it
No.
cool for you?
That's a very good question. I played in high school, and
Right.
that was like I was bullied playing on the men's team. I was bullied about it.
Wow.
The thing to do, and I graduated 2011. I don't care if I'm dating myself.
Hmm.
But back in the day, the thing to do for girls field hockey, cheerleading, track and field, and I wanted to feel included in my high school and all these, like, friend groups, but I sucked at track and field.
Mhm.
Forget cheer, I didn't wanna get hurt, and my dad's like, "Listen, you're a golfer. I put a club in your hand since you were 12. You know how to par a hole. Just stick with it." And I just didn't like it because I didn't like how other people saw me in the sport. Now, the funny thing is, retrospectively, you see who's sliding in my DMs, and it's a lot of people that I went to high school with are asking for lessons. They want to play
Ah,
now. They're getting into the sport. They're keeping up with the content and they're supporting my content. And it's so funny to see how, the tables are turning with that.
yeah,
And honestly, this was just 10 years ago. And
right.
there's still, respectively, there's still not a lot of girls in the game. And, Danielle, who's also on Swing and Ding It, we've had a brief conversation about this because I also
Mhm.
went to Temple. We got connected through the Temple scene, both being in media. Her husband who played for Temple. He played golf
Right.
for Temple. We even talked about that. There's still not a lot of girls in the game.
Mm.
And, I look at my podcast and I'm talking to Mike here. Mike, I only had Jillian Mealy as a female, guest. Everyone else is guy.
Mhm.
And like that, it's just the way it is. It's a man's sport. And
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. I acknowledge the history. I acknowledge I can't go to Squires, and I'm okay with that. Trust me, I'm okay with that. But it's good to see that the game's expanding, and there's a lot of women content creators really stepping up, doing different things with the games, and they're actually
Yeah.
being they're confident and they're okay with doing different things. Like the fact that you guys have Danielle as and she's a phenomenal talent on Swing and Ding It. If
Mhm.
you guys haven't listened to Swing and Ding It, you need to do so. It's a great podcast. You guys
Thank
cultivated
you.
something really special over at Swing and Ding It. Um, Now you're still, other than Swing and Ding It, are you doing any sports radio talk right now? Like
Uh,
what's the schedule like these days for you?
I'd been popping in and out with, Johnny Marks's, new show. He's back on the Fanatic since about October, I believe, of last year. And I started
Fantastic.
doing some shows, weekly stuff with him. That fell off
Mhm.
now, but when I get back from Florida, I think we're going to start that up again. It would just be maybe one day a week,
Mhm.
on midday show there. But the other things that I do two shows a week for the Locked On podcast network, and it's all Eagles stuff. So it's all
Nice.
football, all Eagles. Two of those a week, and then of course the golf pod, and then I joined Nick Kale on 1210 WPHT on Monday mornings for a couple hours every week. So that's pretty much where I am right now with media content and so forth. It's enough.
Yeah. No, that's enough. You're
It's
basically all over the place. Would you
Yeah.
say radio over podcasting? Where are you at right now with that?
I like podcasting.
It's way more fun,
It
right?
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like we live, in an on-demand world, which, when I first got into radio, really didn't it wasn't there at all.
Mhm.
It was radio. Like you listen to the radio, you were in your car with it turned on, or you had it on at your house or whatever.
Mhm.
But now it's like, oh, I missed the show today. No big deal. I'll go to my phone and boom, pull up the show and listen to the parts that I want to listen to, and I'm out. It's like you consume
Mhm.
things so differently. And
Mhm.
I prefer that because I don't have to be in a studio from X hour to 4 hours later
Mhm.
doing the show. I can do it whenever I and my co-hosts want to.
Mhm.
And I just
Mhm.
think it just gives you so much more freedom as a creator, and also the freedom as a listener and a consumer, because you can do things whenever you want. And that's what we like.
This is very true.
Yeah.
That you just inspired a question. I have I was on television, you were on radio.
Hmm.
There's this whole I kind of had an identity crisis, kind of like segueing into podcasting, and let me explain. There was this whole I have to be a little clearly, I mean clearly when we got to be a little PC. Do you
Hmm.
feel to this whole freeing narrative, do you feel like you could be more authentic and less PC podcasting?
Yeah, you definitely can. And for
Mhm.
me, I'm me on any modality, whatever I'm on, a podcast, radio show, TV show,
Yeah.
whatever, I'm me. I
Mhm.
can't be anybody else. Okay, I'm not an actor, and I am not a generally a PC type of person. Never have been.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
so that I walk that line carefully every day on
Mhm.
the radio, and, sometimes we'll go over it, and
Mhm.
sometimes it was intentional, other times it just sort of happened, and you get slapped down and, you move on. But with this type of, work,
Mhm.
you can be, whatever you want, and people can
Mhm.
just say, "Yeah, I like this guy or gal or whatever," or "No, and I'm never gonna I'm unsubscribing," because I don't want that
And then
kind of content.
subscribing. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
you know?
Whatever.
Yeah,
The and okay, now our market, Philadelphia, lovely
mm,
Philadelphia. I Do you think Philadelphia gravitates towards that level of authenticity
yeah,
in their content? That's what they look for in like somebody like AU. You've got a sports background. Now we're talking golf.
right,
And it's Philly. It's
yeah,
Philadelphia. You almost have to like earn their badge of trust through being authentic. Do you
yep,
think they gravitate towards podcasting content as well? Just in general?
absolutely. Yeah, I do. I'm finding that, it is, it's an old school place, obviously, and old school, sort of, radio
Mhm.
stations, TV stations will always be big here because,
Mhm.
people grew up and their dad or mom listened to or watched this network news, or they listened to this sports radio station. So they
Yeah.
gravitate towards that just automatically. It's one of those towns, but it's
Mhm.
also, the people are embracing the podcast world too. And you're right about the authenticity thing. I mean, I didn't get on the radio until I was in my late 30s. I'm talking late 30s. This was a
Mhm.
life change kind of situation, and I did it. And the only way that I would be accepted and to have a career, a second sort of life career, is by being authentic. They would have flushed
Mhm.
me in and out in no time. So you have to be authentic. It's really the only way that you have a chance.
Speaking of authentic, we're going to segue into the PGA Championship, which
Mm.
is coming to Philadelphia at beautiful Aronimink. You've played that course before, have you?
I have not. I had an opportunity to last year, and it fell
Yeah.
through for various reasons.
Okay.
But I have not. I've been there a few times to watch great players play, but I have not played it.
When was the last time you were there to watch?
Uh, this must have been it was probably the BMW when they
Okay.
had the BMW championship there a few years ago.
Okay. Who
Yeah.
won that, by the way? I
I
don't
think it was
remember.
Keegan Bradley.
Okay.
I think Keegan
Mm.
won it, and I think Justin Rose and he were in a duel. I don't know if they went to extra holes. I forget. I wasn't there on Sunday. I was there on the Saturday.
Okay.
But that was I think Keegan won there.
Oh, that's cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Last time, well, I did have the privilege of playing there last season, but before that, prior to 2025, 2012, did you get to there was the AT&T National.
Yes.
Were you able to get to that too?
I was there. Yeah,
Okay.
Tigers tournament. Yeah.
You and I were there. And I forgot this guy's name. I was there. I was a sign bearer. I was a cute little sign
Okay.
bearer. That thing was so freaking heavy, you
Was
guys.
it?
It was it was so heavy. The guy, the golfer who, oh my goodness, he got first that first day. I was holding his sign. And
Hmm.
then I was scared shitless because there was a swarm of media and people coming to our group. And I forgot his name, the name of the golfer who was just leading that first day. It was a crazy name. But it was so overwhelming, and I will never forget that experience. But, yeah, I got to walk that course twice. It's a gorgeous course. When you were there for the BMW, did you stay
Mhm.
stationary at one hole, or did you got a chance to really, like, walk the course and see it?
Whenever I go to a golf tournament, and I've been to a bunch of majors, I haven't been
Yeah.
to the Masters. I was there on a practice day, but not for one of the tournament days. But I've been to US Opens, PGA Championships. I love to walk the golf course.
It's great, right?
Yeah, I walk the
Oh, yeah.
entire place, and I want to see every hole for at least a couple of minutes. And then if I go back maybe a second day, I might find a good spot to sort of hunker down for a little bit. and
Mm-hmm.
just enjoy one of the holes, or a place where you can see 2 or 3 different holes. Guys
Mm.
teeing off here, guys hitting into a green over here, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And it's always got to be near a refreshment stand.
Oh,
You
yes,
got you
this
got
is
to
very
scout
true.
that out.
Which player? No, I mean, I like to eat, yeah, and stay cool because it does get really warm out there on the course. And Aronimink doesn't have a lot of trees to begin with, so you can't be
No, they
cool.
don't. Right.
Uh-uh. Which player do you like to watch? Who do you have your eyes on these days?
Well, I haven't been out to a tournament yet when this
Mhm.
guy has played, but I've got to follow at some point Chris Goddard, who has just won his
Okay.
fourth PGA champion or PGA Tour event, and he's got
Mhm.
2 this season already. He's from New Jersey, played for Rutgers for 3 or 4 years, and then went to Oklahoma
Oh
for
my
a year.
god. Okay,
And he
wow.
is just bombs the ball, and it's got just, I mean, he's hitting it 340 off the tee,
Mhm.
and he can putt. I mean, he's just a fun guy to watch, and he's going to be a Ryder Cup stalwart, I believe, for the next couple of teams. And I got to get up close and personal with Chris
Mhm.
Goddard up here really,
Okay.
really quickly.
Well, shout out to Chris. We're gonna
Yeah,
be watching you. But you and I
absolutely.
both know, like when the PGA Championship comes to Ronimink, it's not just golf fans coming; it's Philly sports fans, and I mean this in the best possible way. Do you think we're gonna be on our best behavior?
Um, I don't know about best behavior, but I think I'll trust that they'll be okay. I don't think we're going to
Okay,
see any type of waste management type situation in a WM Phoenix Open type behavior. I don't think
let's
it's going to
talk
be
about
like
that.
a Ryder Cup kind of
Yeah,
Bethpage Black kind of situation.
right.
You'll hear them, but I think the Philly golf
Hmm.
fan knows and respects the game and respects a place like Aronimink, because we don't get many tournaments that come through here all that often. I
We
think we
don't.
should have more than we do.
Hmm.
But it's sort of the once every couple of 10 years or so we get a tournament. People love it. They're going to have
Hmm.
fun with it. I don't think they'll have anybody go over the line.
No, and I agree with that. And let's talk about the waste management situation. So there's
Yeah.
a viral video going around in case if anybody hasn't seen it. There's a guy paying a kid $100 to yell jackass mid
Mm,
swing at a player. Now that's the kind of energy right now that's just repetitively being, it's within all of these majors right now. And Rory, he had to he kind of stepped out of character and he got out of his game a little bit. And then there was that confrontation over at Bethpage, waste
hmm.
management. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's not part of the game. It shouldn't
No.
be. Waste management in Phoenix or in Scottsdale is its own entity of an event. There is no other place like that or event like that, and I'm fine with it. It's sort of where people behave poorly, and it's kind of tolerated for that 1 week and that one place only. Ryder Cups get very, you know, I don't know even know the word for it, but it's you know that I knew things like that would happen at Bethpage with the New York crowd, America versus Team Europe and so forth. And he's a lightning rod guy. He's going to be the guy that gets it. He and Rom to me are the guys that would get it on their team. And it's just sort of one of those things. I think as a golf fan, you sort of have to shake your head and deal with, because it only happens once a year on the tour and every 2 years. Next Ryder Cup, we're going to be over in, I believe, Ireland. There'll probably be a situation over there directed at one of our players. And it's just, you kind of have to sort of just say, you know what, it's a Ryder Cup. I don't like it. But, you know, cooler heads prevail and we move on.
Do you think golf is getting crowded? It's bringing in
When you,
different kinds of
yes,
people. Okay,
it
explain.
is. Yeah. And I think that happened since COVID. COVID has sort of exploded the game because it was the only thing you really could do, for a year or so where you could,
Right.
isolate sort of, you could be 6, 10 feet away from somebody and, play a sport. And it exploded the game. And there's a lot of good things that came along with that. And then I think there's some not so good things. And when you say crowded, that's a great word. Uh, I always joke, like, I'm not here to grow the game. I'm here to shrink the game. but you know, I mean, public golf is great. It's great, and
Yeah.
then there's private golf. There's always going to be public and private golf. And I don't want to see private golf. It has to remain private. There has to be a private and a public golf. And if you want to enjoy both, like I do,
Mhm,
every now and then you're going to have to deal with some crowding, as you say.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
But there is a division, and if you're lucky enough to be able to play on private courses, you have to behave.
Do you think that country now we're it's old over here. Old
Yeah.
money, old Philly money.
Yep.
Country club vibe is very old, underrated.
Hmm.
Um, do you how do you think that country clubs should embrace content on their courses?
Hmm. So, in other words, like I belong to the 1912 club.
Great, great course by
Um,
the way. Love that course.
you're saying like they should allow me to shoot content while I
Mhm.
play golf. Is that what you're?
What I'm well, some golf courses have a no phone
Yeah.
policy,
Right.
and I've since my content has taken a quote unquote liking to the Philly
Hmm.
community, I'm engaging in these conversations more and more often with Philly Country Club, Philly Cricket Club,
Hmm.
um, maybe golf mills. Do you think that it's forward thinking for these country clubs to embrace the idea of golf content? Now you look at what how I mean the internet invitational really elevated YouTube golf. More
Hmm.
people are statistically watching YouTube golf over the golf channel and watching the
Hmm.
pros right now. Where do you think all of this basically, I mean, where do you think it stands for? Do you think they've got something they gain from this?
Yeah, I think a lot of places, venues would have, realized some gain from it. But then there's a lot of venues that don't need it. Like they don't need the gain. Like, like you mentioned a couple of those places. I mean, there's clubs that I can't get on that
Mhm,
absolutely do not need YouTube to spread the word, if you will. They've got it. They got enough. They got people lined up on a list willing to fork over a lot of money to just join. That's not even the dues and all the money that they'd spend there on a monthly basis. They don't need it. But the places that maybe don't need it either, but just embrace it, I think that's
mhm,
great too. I think everything sort of finds its level. Should more clubs do it? I don't know that they should or not. I think if they want to, they should really embrace it and really,
mhm,
do it right. Don't
mhm.
just sort of, yeah, you can come in here and shoot some stuff, but and then have all these rules on it.
Yes. Oh God, yeah,
You're
yeah,
either in it or
absolutely.
you're not. But a lot of
Either
places
in it
don't
or
need
you're
it.
not.
They don't need
Hmm.
it.
No, this is a good point. I'm just reminded when I got to play at Philly Country last season. There were a few drones that were
Uh-huh.
just hovering, and so some of the legacy members said, "Yeah, we're embracing content," and I'm like, "You guys,
Yeah.
what?"
Wow. Yeah.
They love
And the
it.
drones are noisy too.
Oh,
I mean, if you don't know they're there, and all of a sudden a drone's there, like you hear it, and it's kind of
yeah.
startling. But
I'm thinking,
you know,
okay, is this a cicadas plague? Like, what's going on over
right,
here?
right.
No, this is really interesting. I have to ask you, so you're going out and playing around at 1912.
Hmm.
What are you shooting these days?
I stink. I'm shooting mid to high 80s. I stink. Um,
That's pretty good.
I,
I mean,
I'm
that's pretty
capable. I'm
good.
capable of some great shots, but I just can't do it consistently. I mean, that's really it.
Got
Um,
you.
but I will never stop. As
Mhm.
long as I can play physically, get out there and play, I'm never going to stop. I'll probably die on a golf course. I've already torn up an ankle that needed to be
Yeah.
totally rebuilt on a golf course. I
Mhm.
had a heart issue on a golf course where I couldn't feel my legs from my hips down, and played a round of 18 holes, and then
Oh,
went
wow.
to the doctor and found out that I had a big problem, which has since been fixed. But so I'm going to probably end up passing away on a golf course at some point.
But, like, what a great way to go, though, right? You have
Exactly.
a heart attack, and then you're just laying out there on a
Right.
gorgeous hole. You look up,
Right.
and you see the sun, you hear the birds,
Yeah.
and you say, "God, I'm ready."
Yeah, you got a cigar, and a cocktail or a beer, and it's just like that's it, right?
This is so freaking morbid. I love it. All right, quick rapid fire. You ready? We're gonna
Okay.
do a quick
Yeah.
rapid fire. PGA Championship at Aronimink. Is Philly behaving? Yes or no?
Yes. I will
Okay.
say yes. Yeah.
Eagles playoff game or a 4-footer to break 80.
Oh, 4-footer to break 80. That's the goal of
Right.
mine this year is to break 80 on a private club, and, that's the goal. So 4-footer, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I'm glad I asked you that. Like, this
Yeah.
is thanks for clarification. Worst golf excuse you've heard.
All right, it came from me while I was playing, I wanna say 2 summers ago at the 1912 club with a group of guys that I typically play with, and they're real, ball breakers. And I'm on the 3rd hole, it's the par 5, I'm hitting a 2nd shot with an iron from the rough,
Okay.
and
I know the
I
hole.
missed the ball, okay, I whiffed, and these guys are like, What the heck was that?" And I'm like, "Dude, my glasses came off my face and I couldn't see the ball because I was sweating. It was so hot and humid. It was must have been in August or something. My face was drenched in sweat and my glasses literally slid off my face and I missed the ball. Totally missed it. So since then, I've gotten different glasses that won't come off. They're like sort of pinned into my they're they're, I'm wearing them right now.
Yo,
Yeah,
10
but
out
I
of 10.
missed the ball. Yeah,
10 out of 10 for originality with
yeah.
that
How about
excuse.
that?
Yo!
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I could
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
ugh,
Embarrassing, very embarrassing, but there
well,
was a reason for it.
now I'm gonna be in my head about playing playing golf with
Yeah,
glasses on.
yeah.
What? Okay, next question and final question. Yo, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
gorgeous. Wait, I gotta ask, what did they say? What was their response?
Oh
What
my
was their
god,
rebuttal?
they were killing me, regardless of losing your glasses, I still hear about it, so
You
yeah.
still hear about it?
Oh, yeah, sure,
Dude,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That's terrible.
yeah.
What score actually makes you happy?
At the end of 18 holes, am I
That's correct. Mhm.
anything that begins with an 8
Okay.
is fine with me, okay? Um,
Okay.
when it begins with a 7, I'm gonna call you, okay? When the first time I
Yes.
get the score with a 7, I'm gonna call you,
I love
all
this.
right? We'll do an
Well, real
emergency
we
episode
ha
of the podcast.
we have to.
Yeah,
No, no,
we'll go
no.
through it
This
shot
is
by shot.
yeah, we know we really have to. Well, let me ask you this before we close out. Let me
All right.
ask you this. What part of your game is just you feel is keeping you in the 80s and keeping you from breaking 80?
Chipping.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
chipping. Yep.
Around the green?
Yeah,
Okay.
I probably use, because I watch so many great players play on television that I
Mhm.
think I can hit a 58-degree wedge off a tight lie, from 10 yards off the green, and I can't. I should
Mhm.
probably use like a 7 iron or an 8 iron and bump it, like
Bump it.
things like that. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it's that kind of stuff that's keeping me from 79, 78.
Got you. Well, so
Yep.
what I'm hearing is you gotta hit more greens on regulation.
Well, that would help too, but,
That would really help.
yeah, it would help, now that I'm down here in Florida, I can play places with a little bit bigger greens, and then when I hit greens, because 'cause I'm a terrific lag
Mhm.
putter. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I can lag it from 40, 50 feet to 3 feet with the
Oh
best of them.
my god. Oh, so
Oh,
then,
yeah.
you gotta just
Yeah.
work on your regulation. So it's your
Yeah.
irons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We diagnosed you. We diagnosed
Okay.
you. And now when you break 80, we are celebrating.
Okay.
I already have libations over
Oh,
here.
nice. Very good.
We're gonna celebrate.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go through it
Where
shot by
yeah,
shot. Don't you love that when you
I
play golf and
do.
somebody comes in and says, "Oh, yeah, and they're giving you their shot by shot of their round, and you're like, "Did I ask for this?"
Yeah. I know, but you know what? Lately, I've been finding myself in these conversations that they feel a little unsolicited, but I
Mhm.
just go with it. I
Yeah,
just yeah,
yeah,
you just kinda go with it.
yeah,
And then they ask you, "Well, how'd you shoot?" And I'm like,
yeah.
"Well, a lot better than
Well,
you, but I'm not gonna give you a play-by-play because
right,
you wouldn't know, honey."
right.
Um, Let me ask you this, where can people listen and tune into the Swing It and Ding It podcast? And are you guys on Instagram?
Yes, we are at Swing It. Let me see. It's like a bunch of underscores on
Tons of
Instagram.
underscores.
Yeah, it's at
Swing
swing
uh-huh.
underscore it underscore and underscore ding. Okay, on Instagram. And
Y'all are
then it.
complicated.
Okay. Yeah, it's very complicated. And on X, we're at it underscore ding.
Harry Mays, longtime sports voice, now hosts the Swing and Dig It podcast. You can keep up with his senior tour prep journey
Yeah, I'm on the
on
Florida swing right now.
there you go. On all socials. Harry, thank you for your time and thank you
Oh,
for
it's great.
joining us over at Pin
Thank you so
High.
much. We'll do this anytime.
Anytime. All right, let's go break 80 this season.
There you
We're
go.
rooting for you. Take care, guys. Keep it here.